We've had ice, we've had snow, now it's the turn of dry asphalt. Welcome to the French island of Corsica and round 3 of the World Rally Championship. Held in recent years towards the end of the season, this year's rally has moved up the calendar, and so the weather may be even more of a factor than usual. Nestling in the Mediterranean, Corsica is actually closer to Italy than France and is much smaller than its southern neighbour, Sardinia. The rally is based in the island's capital, Ajaccio, with the 3 legs to the east, north and south of the city. French teams have dominated the event for the past few years. The pre-event favourite won it 2 years ago and was second here last October.
I look only in the front and I want to go faster, maximum, faster and better to go in this one.
But his weekend didn't begin well. Panizzi broke his rear suspension on the shakedown test the day before the start. At least it didn't happen on stage 1. That's what shakedown's for, after all. Marcus Grönholm, the winner of round 2 in Sweden, currently leads the World Championship, but admits that tarmac isn't his favourite surface.
I tried to progress on asphalt. Maybe my first podium here, I hope. But if I cannot fight for the top 3, I will take the point what I get, and that's important for the championship.
The third of the works Peugeots is driven by the reigning world champion Richard Burns, who's still learning his new car. Modifications made after Sweden should have helped.
We've made quite a lot of changes since Monte Carlo to the setting of the car, and it feels now quite a lot more easy to drive. A lot depends on the weather, obviously, because I think a lot can change this weekend.
Francois Delacour won the rally in 1992 and has been second no fewer than 4 times. But he's also adapting to a new team, Mitsubishi, and so is only too aware that victory this year is unlikely, to say the least.
We know, the team know, I know that we have still some work to do on the car, and the reason why at the moment we are not expecting to win here.
Colin McRae's won Corsica twice, in 1997 and 1998 in a Subaru, but is pessimistic about the possibilities of repeating that performance this year in a Ford Focus.
I think we'll be competitive, but I don't think we're going to be competitive at the top end.
Rain, however, might swing things in Ford's favour, so you can never rule out McRae or his teammate Carlos Sainz. The island has a reputation for punishing even the slightest mistake. One man who knows that only too well is Tommy Mäkinen. His regular co-driver Risto Mäki is still out after their crash here last October, so Kai Lindstrom will once again accompany an upbeat Mäkinen.
Car feels very good. It's nice, easy car. I have to say it's easier car to drive as last year's new car when we were here.
Talking of new cars, Hyundai have the 3rd evolution of their Accent WRC here, but the shakedown stage also caused them a few problems, as a sheepish Freddie Loix explained.
I went a little bit beside on the road, on the grass, and I couldn't get any more properly on the tarmac, so I just hit the pole and damaged the intercooler and radiator.
Last year's winner, Jesus Puras, isn't here, but Citroën do have a single, semi-official Zara for Filip Bugalski.
I think a good car for win or for disturb the good pace.
This is how the Drivers' World Championship looks after the Swedish rally. Marcus Grönholm has a 2-point advantage over Tommy Mäkinen, with just 5 points separating third-placed Carlos Sainz from Richard Burns in 7th. In the Manufacturers Series, reigning champions Peugeot already have a 4-point lead over Ford, while Skoda are the only team yet to score. Day 1 dawned dry and clear. The rally's return to springtime meant that snow still lay on the mountaintops, with plenty of sunshine to warm the tarmac roads down in the valleys. 5 stages made up the rally's opening day, a relatively short pair to start with, then stage 3, the longest of the entire rally, followed by a repeat of the earlier pair, 129 kilometres in all. As championship leader, Marcus Grönholm was the first to tackle the 17.5 kilometres of stage 1. third fastest on the stage, the unblinking Gronholm's only anxious moment came when he did something while cutting a corner. An inspection after the stage revealed no serious damage, and only a little time was lost. Like Gronholm, Mäkinen's never won this event, but unlike his compatriot, Mäkinen has won on tarmac, and so was confident he could do well in Corsica. Stage 1, though, also caused concern for the four-time world champion, but the reason was very unusual. The stage was 200 metres longer than it had been last October, and Tommy had simply forgotten to make pace notes for the final couple of corners. Confusion in the cars soon went, and only a few seconds were lost, but Mäkinen was less than pleased at his mistake.
Tulee tää oikein, meidän ei osteta tää oikein. Saatana, miten
Carlos Sainz's problems at the opposite end of the stage. A gearbox which thought it had selected first gear when it hadn't was the cause of the delayed start. Again, the fault didn't lose much time, but co-driver Luis Moya was quickly on the radio to arrange a replacement.
Acaba con una masogo corta, frenando para derecha calenta. Abrirse, uno, derecha rápida, ojo, para izquierda para más en quinta, de poco, para derecha rápida menos, para izquierda para más corta en quinta, veis uno cambia asfalto, izquierda acá, para uno corto, derecha acá no corto.
Despite the hiccup at the start, Sainz was still quicker than teammate Colin McRae. The two Fords, however, were around 15 seconds off the pace of the stage winner, and so the team continued to pray for rain. Richard Burns was fourth fastest on the stage. The thousands of twists and turns made Corsica a co-driver's nightmare. Just listen to the machine gun pace note delivery of Robert Reed.
60 key right and key right in line. 20 flat left, 20 medium right, tightens maybe 20, slow key left, tightens maybe in, line maybe 20, key right long, 30 braking, slow key left and key left minus tightens, 10 slow key right in long, to medium left, to fast left 10.
Three of the top four times on stage 1 were set by Peugeot drivers. The odd man out was Subaru's Petter Solberg. Team orders had forced him to drop from 4th to 5th on last year's event, so the Norwegian was out to prove a point and flew through the stage, losing less than 4 seconds to the only man who went quicker.
Line into 2, right minus tighten short, 1 plus unseen, 40, damp 6 left, opens 40, don't cut, 1 left plus.
That man, as almost everyone had predicted, was Gilles Panizzi, co-driven by his brother Hervé, who gave a demonstration of just how to drive these treacherous mountain roads.
Sur droite 90 plus pas court, gauche 90 court, droite 90, pour gauche à fond, 40 mètres attention, gauche 85 long, 50 mètres épingle droite, pour gauche à fond long, 80 mètres, droite ferme 95 de l'entrée humide. 50 mètres.
After a superb drive in Sweden, Francois Duval's Corsican weekend took a little while to get going. That stall cost around 10 seconds, and the young Belgian must have been glad to reach the first corner and get away from the cameras. Armin Schwarz headed the Hyundai Challenge, but debutant Thomas Kuhar retired his absolute brakes after his throttle jammed open, while the expected charge from Philippe Bugalski failed to materialise after he was slowed by the loose gravel thrown onto the road by earlier cars. So this was how things stood after stage 1. Panizzi the early leader, with Solberg preventing an all-Peugeot top 3. Mäkinen was ahead of the unlucky Sainz, while Colin McRae led the pack chasing the top 6. First to 12th were already covered by over 26 seconds, and another 15 stages remained. The next of those, repeated at the end of the day, was the stage which saw Tommy Mäkinen's accident last October. Zooming in, thanks to Virtual Spectator, you can imagine the risks faced by the drivers as they tackle the ribbon of tarmac which snakes up the mountain. For safety reasons, this year the stage only runs as far as the village of Tolla, before the scene of Mäkinen's accident. This horrific scene could so easily have been far worse, but as it is, Tommy's regular co-driver Risto Manasamaki still isn't ready to return to the championship. In addition to shortening the stage, the organisers have also used water-filled barriers this year in an attempt to make the event safer. You'd have thought those events would have played on Mäkinen's mind, but as he starts the stage, it seems he's still annoyed at his mistake at the end of stage 1. Fifth fastest, Mäkinen and Lindstrom were also still fifth overall. Grönholm's Peugeot was over 8 seconds quicker than the Subaru, Grönholm missing out on setting the fastest time by only 0.3 of a second. The second fastest time meant that Grönholm and co-driver Timo Rautiainen had moved up into second place. Carlos Sainz and Luis Moya saw no repeat of their mystery gearbox fault, but this time the pair clipped something at the side of the road which punctured a tyre and cost them about 10 seconds. Richard Burns was again fourth fastest and arrived at the end of the relatively short stage with his brakes smoking.
50, easy right, braking long 10, medium left plus tight, maybe a medium left plus 70.
Petter Solberg had doubts about his tyre choice, commenting that the road was quite slippery. The Impreza was third fastest and dropped to third place on the leaderboard behind Grönholm.
One right plus, opens 30. Short 3 left, into 6 right plus, 40, flat 6 left, 36 right, 40 line into 2 left plus and gap, tightens minus, and short 5 right, 40, half 2 left, keep in, 30.
Once again it was Gilles Panizzi who was quickest on the stage. With still no sign of the predicted threat from Bugalski, the Peugeot driver's only competition, it seemed, came from his teammates and Solberg.
Droite à fond, gauche sans long. 60 mètres, gauche 95 long plus.
2 stages into the rally, Panizzi's lead was now a little over 5 seconds.
Droite 95. 60 mètres, gauche 95 un peu long.
Mitsubishi hadn't expected to be on the pace, they weren't wrong. Delacour was 9th, but felt that the car felt much better than it had been on round 1 in Monte Carlo. Another team who weren't expecting to be on the podium was Skoda. Sure enough, their challenge was led by Tony Gardemeister, who was a lowly 17th. Stage 2 might have only been 11.5 kilometres long, but it gives us a perfect chance to show you something you'd never normally see. Imagine that 4 drivers, Panizzi, Grönholm, Solberg and Mäkinen, started the stage together. Thanks to GPS tracking and data from the cars, we can see that 9 kilometres through the stage, they'd have been spread out like this. The first 3 are fairly evenly separated, but Mäkinen is already a long way back compared to his colleague, who's right up there with the 2 Peugeots. That's what losing just 6 seconds looks like.
The feeling with the car is perfect, and the car is very competitive, and I'm very happy for that.
Philippe, you're 15th after 2 stages. That's not a good start for you.
No good start, but I don't understand why. I don't understand. Nothing.
After last hairpin right, it was the hairpin was our last note, and I thought now it is end of the stage, and I couldn't see anything. I thought, wonder what is going on?
So I'm in first gear. I even try in the second stage to leave the clutch before to make sure I was in first gear, and then when it was coming to 0, I was again in neutral. So we have to find out.
Is the Pirelli rubber working?
It's working better. I think they will work even better now. The second time we go through, the temperature is going up, so I think it will be even better now.
But I hit something in the middle maybe, and And yes, when we came to the finish, I saw it was on the rim, quite big damage. So, but we were lucky. I didn't lose maybe 1-2 seconds.
At nearly 37 kilometres, stage 3 was the longest not only of day 1, but of the rally itself. It was very nearly a case of business as usual, with all 3 Peugeots in the top 5 stage times. Grunholm was 4th fastest. He lost a little under a second to the charging Solberg, but was still in 2nd place.
Oikein hidas. Kolme ja vasen nopea. Näin oikein eri soppuun.
Mäkinen was 6th quickest, and again faster than Sainz to consolidate his 5th place.
Helppo oikein miinus aukee. 6, pirun pitkä kovasen miinus. Pikkupomppu alussa kapea silta, älä oikase. Plus 7, suoralla vähän kosteita ja vähän kosteen pitkä vasen nopea. Ja tosi pitkä K oikein miinus aukee vähän lopussa. 3, pitkä K oikein plus.
Sainz and Moyer lost a further 8 seconds to Mäkinen and Lindström when they again clipped something hidden in the grass and ruined another tyre.
Derecha, oiga. Derecha, izquierda, rápido con la izquierda. 10. Derecha, campo contra la izquierda, mucho. Para uno corto, frenando. Izquierda, buena izquierda y no cortar. Para derecha, caneta corta, ras. Para izquierda, casi tira poco. Para derecha, que corta en cuarta, se abre. Acaba buena más.
The 3 silver Peugeots might have been dominating the leaderboard, but the blue one was just outside the top 10. Harry Rovanperä drives the 3rd works car on gravel events, but runs in a semi-official 206 on tarmac, another Finn who's more at home on loose surfaces. Richard Burns also prefers gravel, but the world champion is quite happy on asphalt. 5th fastest on stage 3, he was still 4th overall, taking another 3.5 seconds off the chasing Mäkinen.
Medium right 50, medium right plus in 80.
But for the 3rd stage in a row, it was Burns' French teammate who set the fastest time.
Gauche, sans brèche. Dans droite 95 plus. Ouvre 40 mètres, 90 plus. 10 plus, 50 mètres.
Gilles Panizzi's lead was now up to 13.5 seconds. The long stage, though, took its toll on several cars. Kenneth Eriksson's Skoda was among those which suffered from excessive tyre wear. His co-driver, Tina Turner, cheerfully passing on the news to the team in a way only she could get away with.
Tack. Super 1 for Tina. We are clear of stage. Our tyres are...
Peugeot didn't have things all their own way either. Bugalski had finally woken up, it seemed. His Citroen was 2nd fastest and had moved up into 7th place. So after 3 of the day's 5 stages, Panizzi, Grunholm, Solberg and Burns were still very much in command of the rally. But just 2.5 seconds off Sainz's 6th place was Bugalski. Marco Martin was now ahead of Colin McRae, while Delacour had dropped to 10th.
We had some problems, yes, we lost the alternator belt on the stage, but okay, I didn't lose so many seconds.
Just had a little bit problem with the last 8Ks of the stage with a little bit understeer. And, you know, we have to try to improve all the time, and then I thought maybe I pushed too hard from the start.
Gilles, you just won the 3rd stage. Will you be allowing any other drivers to win a stage this year?
It was not easy because this stage is the longer, this rally, and it was difficult for the tires.
7 kilometers before the end, we ran out of rubber on the tires, you know, and I don't know why, if we was pushing too hard on this rough stage.
Did you make it to the end of the stage? We'd get out and change the tyre then?
Yeah, we're driving slowly towards the end of the stage. The last 5 kilometers, it was like just nearly on the rim, you know, so we had to do that.
Stage 4 was a rerun of the day's opening stage, but this time the clouds had started to gather, making tyre choice even more difficult. Grunholm went with exactly the same choice as the morning, and they obviously worked. The Finn was 3rd fastest.
pitkä hidas.
This time, however, the 2000 world champion was slower than the man who took his crown last year, Richard Burns.
Fast left plus down, maybe the fast left hook slippy. Titans maybe 20. Crash 20.
Burns and Robert Reid were second quickest, only 1/10 of a second up on their colleagues.
In long, 30, K left tight slippy maybe, and K left in. 60, easy right, to easy right in, to flat right 50, flat left.
A little of the pressure would be taken off the Peugeots on stage 4 when Petter Solberg became the latest in a long line of drivers to discover that Corsica punishes even the smallest of errors.
Opens 40. Okay, get a turn round.
Co-driver Phil Mills reminds Solberg to turn around, but otherwise the incident barely gets a mention.
Titans 1+ of a junction.
The missing front bumper will be replaced at service, but the rear bodywork is rubbing on a tyre, and so the duo will need to make some running repairs at the end of the stage if they're to avoid losing yet more time. Watched, but of course not helped by the local fire crew, Solberg gets the job done, but doesn't even have time to tell us what happened before heading off to stage 5. No such worries for the Panizzi brothers. They were fastest yet again, their 4th stage win in a row, stretching their lead to over 16 seconds. Causing more than a few raised eyebrows, meanwhile, was Francois Duval. On only his 2nd rally in a Focus WRC and his 1st on asphalt, he was 7th fastest on stage 4, beating Marco Martin in an identical car. Stage 5 was a repeat of the 2nd, but by now conditions were very different to those of the morning. For the first time all day, the fastest time was set by a driver other than Gilles Panizzi. It was, though, another Peugeot, that of Marcus Grönholm, which took the honours. With the rain came the expected change of fortunes for Ford. Sainz was 2nd fastest, just 2.1 seconds down on Grönholm.
Frenando para izquierda buena en tercera, poco de y sabe por dentro fin. Para derecha buena más ojo corta de tierra, abrirse.
Once he'd actually started the stage, Colin McRae also enjoyed the wet conditions. He and co-driver Nicky Grist were 5th quickest.
Straight 70.
Panizzi could only manage the 12th fastest time, losing 13.3 seconds of his lead, and so undoing most of the good work he'd done on the 4 dry stages.
Gauche ferme 420 long.
Burns also suffered, 11th quickest, but a 2nd faster than Panizzi. It would still be an all-Peugeot top 3 at the end of the day, but the advantage wouldn't be as commanding as they'd hoped.
Fast right minus 30, fast left minus middle 20, medium left plus 30, flat right 40, crash 30, easy right plus.
If Francois Duval had enjoyed the dry 4th stage, he must have been in heaven in the rain. An incredible 3rd fastest, beating McRae in the process. Duval had shown that Ford's confidence in him had been justified and that his is a name to watch in the future. But Ford weren't the only ones to be grateful for the rain. Hyundai's new Accent WRC took in a steady first day, but Armin Schwarz rounded it off by setting the 4th fastest time on stage 5, even though both he and Freddie Lawrence were well outside the top 10. So Panizzi leads Grönholm by exactly 3 seconds tonight, with Burns a further 22 behind. Mäkinen, Sainz and Solberg round off the top 6, while Filip Bugalski will start day 2 in a threatening 8th place. With more rain forecast, the rally's longest day is set to be a thriller.
Yeah, we lost out a little bit in the last stage, but with the rain, I think the first must be sort of 3 or 4 cars had a little bit cleaner run.
Yes, good position, because maybe raining this tonight and 15th position, I can see the first car and for the choice of the tires and okay, no problem, it's good.
In fact, we are very satisfied. cars are running problemless totally. Gilles has gone fantastically since this morning. He has been slightly handicapped by the rain, as Richard has done as well in the last stage. And this shows us this rally is really complicated weather conditions-wise.